What's going on, everybody? CGA back in here with the Notorious CGA channel. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and click the like button on this video if you'd like. And check this out. We're going to take you on a journey to one of the most craziest days that I've ever experienced as a content creator. And I was like, yes, that's going to be the thumbnail. Anyway, I was like, oh, schnizzap. All right, as they used to say back in the 90s. Anyway, check this out. What happened was, all right, I've been a YouTuber since around 2018 officially, but I've always had YouTube channels before that. And most of it was doing basketball drill videos that I put on in 2011 or something like that. So anyway, check out this story. I've been doing content in the red pill space since 2018, and it's been pretty controversial for the most part. Even back then, it was very tough to get a channel to grow in that genre, and people were getting their channels taken down all the time. And I was pretty much concerned that I would get my channel taken down basically because some blue hair feminists would find my channel. All right, so that never happened. But during that time, I had the big channel, Coach Greg Adams, which has over 200,000 subscribers. But I'll get to the point. I did a video on somebody in the space, and I basically critiqued this person based on a Twitter conversation that I had. And during that time, all of my channels that channel was monetized, and that was the only channel I really had, and it was monetized. So I was doing the content that you see today, basically like podcast content. And what happened was I did a critique of this person in the sphere. And 3 weeks after I did this critique, which was very popular, they responded, or that particular person responded with their group of people, and the response didn't go well. My content did pretty well. And 3 weeks after that, all of my videos got reported on the Coach Greg Adams channel. So one by one, I'm in Mexico, one by one, I'm watching, before I'm going on my airplane flight back to California, I'm watching each video getting demonetized one by one. And back then, demonetized was basically, it went from green to yellow symbol. All right, and so I'm watching going, wow, I'm like, damn, what is going on? I'm trying to get answers. I'm getting the bot from the Google bot, the YouTube bot. They're telling me, they don't know what's going on. The bot can't tell me anything. So I'm basically looking at it. I was starting to make some money, pretty decent money. And so I'm watching that money kind of disappear, which if you're a YouTube content creator, essentially when your video goes from green dollar symbol to yellow dollar symbol, you're losing 90% of the replay revenue. And over time, let's just say over a 10-year period, you're losing hundreds of thousands of dollars, all right? If you continue to make content over that period and the replay is not earning any money, you're losing a lot of money. So I'm going, man, this is crazy. But I still plugged away. All right, I've still put out the content like I normally did, but knowing that there was going to be a loss of revenue, I said probably need to venture into live streaming, which I started live streaming more days than I was doing at that point. I think I was only doing 2 days. This is why, if you watch my show now, I'll say Monday and Thursday are the longest running episodic program here on YouTube, and the Thursday is the second longest running episodic program here on YouTube, because at that time I was only doing 2 days of live streaming. So in order to make up the difference, I was still able to get super chats, but I was just cutting 10-minute videos at the time and just putting them up. And I was like, well, they're not gonna make that much money. So I started doing live streaming like 3 or 4 days. I added 3 or 4 days or something like that. And so I said, okay, that's the solution. Well, lo and behold, I started running into some other problems with even the live stream replays not getting green. They all got yellow. So I'm trying to communicate with YouTube, nothing. So I started another channel. Which is the Free Agent Lifestyle channel, which is essentially I started putting vlogs on there, the day of the life of, and traveling around. And I like to do vlogs because even though they don't get great views, I like the process of editing and adding music to the stuff and showing a part of life that most people don't see. So I'm doing the vlogs on the Free Agent Lifestyle channel. And then by popular demand, by popular requests, they start saying, hey, can we send you questions? And instead of me emailing back and forth a question and answering it directly, I said, I'll make content. So I started a channel called Ask Coach Greg Adams. Okay. And so those were my 3 channels, and they did pretty well. They were at like 75, 80,000 for the big channel. And then the Ask Coach Greg Adams channel started gaining momentum. and it eventually got to 47,000, and the Free Agent Lifestyle channel did pretty well too, probably like at 35,000 at the time, and now it's sitting at 80,000. But by that time, what happens is also, if your videos go from green to yellow, you basically aren't getting pushed through the algorithm. You're not getting pushed through the main pages. All right, many people understand that now, but at the time, this was relatively new because monetization, super chat, this was fairly new. So, but in my entire experience on YouTube, it was always monetization. Okay, I wasn't here making that much content when there was zero monetization. So anyway, what ended up happening was I started wanting to do more content. So I started a sports channel. Okay, this was from 2019 and 2020. I was like, I want to talk about sports. All right, why not? I'm a sports background. Let's talk about sports. Then I had another channel related to gaming. All right, and then I started having all of these other channels because my thought process was, if I'm going to put content out that is different than the content that people came from, it frustrates the consumer. It frustrates the people watching. So then you start seeing something about a vlog when it's a live stream channel or it's a short form video channel. So my mindset was always have backup channels and then have other channels. I'm not going to put a sports channel on the Coach Greg Adams channel. So I think that would frustrate the hell out of people. So I started segmenting all these channels. And eventually I got to 7 fully monetized channels, with the big channel demonetized at that point. So essentially around October of, it was 2020? No, it was earlier than that. It was earlier than that. The Coach Greg Adams channel, I get an email. This channel does not qualify for monetization. So it's at 0. I mean, I'm not even getting the dollar symbol anymore, right? So at that point, it was like abandoned ship. And that channel, when it got fully demonetized, meaning no super chats, no green or yellow symbol, nothing, I was sitting there like, okay, I was live streaming on that channel, and I was like, okay, forget that. I'm not going to do anything but put replays over there. So I'm trying to figure out why it got demonetized. I'm talking to the bots. The bots are giving me standard answers. Well, maybe it's your content. Okay. But I'm getting nobody. So then I said, okay, I'm going to move everything. I'm going to delete stuff on the Coach Greg Adams channel, meaning I'm deleting community posts, which I shouldn't have done, but that's neither here nor there. So I'm trying to clean it up so I can get them to review the channel again. So instead of putting content on the Coach Greg Adams channel, I'm over on the Free Agent Lifestyle channel. I move all the live streams over there. And then by this time, it's C19, it's COVID. So this is when Kevin Samuels is blowing up. Everybody's blowing up, right? So I said, I'm going to move everything to the Free Agent Lifestyle channel. And then I started streaming twice a day. That was when I started streaming twice, when the quarantine happened, because everybody had time. And my business, my fitness business, I had less clientele because gyms were shutting down and so forth. So make a long story short, I end up going to the Free Agent Lifestyle channel, and it was monetized, but I still was getting I was still getting mostly yellow symbols, not many green symbols. And then also I still had super chats. Now I'm going to take you to the day where all the channels got demonetized on one day. So Coach Greg Adams channel, fully demonetized, no green, no yellow. All right, nothing, no dollar symbols. Then somewhere, I don't know what happened. I don't know where I was going. Anyway, one of these days I streamed. I got the Ask Coach Greg Adams channel. I got the sports channel monetized. I mean, I can't even remember how many channels. I had 7 channels at that moment that were monetized. Okay, they were full monetized. I'm ready to go. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put this on this channel. I'm ready to go. One day I finish the stream. I'm wrapping up. My kids, they're in high school at the time. And this is post-COVID, so things were starting to open up. So I'm like, let me go pick up my kids. Then I have to do, I'm thinking about what I need to do. Anyway, as I'm leaving, my email started blowing up. Okay. Now, normally for me, when I get emails and it's from YouTube, it's like the heart drop. It's like panic. Because you never know. It could be a copyright. It could be a copyright strike. It could be a strike, community guideline strike. It could be anything. Age restriction. As a content creator, when them YouTube channels, emails come in, blah, blah, you're like, oh, and you see it's YouTube, you're like, oh, what now? So I get the email from YouTube. The Free Agent Lifestyle channel is no longer qualified for monetization. And I was like, damn, I was like, they got the free agent lifestyle. So I'm like down to Coach Greg Adams, my 2 biggest channels, no monetization. So I'm like, oh man. So I was like, I'm not gonna worry about it right now. I gotta go pick up my kids from school. I take 2 steps, boom, YouTube email. The Ask Coach Greg Adams channel, no longer monetized. What? What the hell? I was like, yo, what's going on? I take 2 steps, boom, the CGA Sports channel, no longer monetized. And I'm just getting email after email, boom, boom. Like, this channel no monetized, this channel no longer monetized, this channel no longer monetized. I'm like, what the hell? So I lost 7 channels. 7 channels in one day. And I had just got all of them monetized. I'm sitting here thinking like, what were the other channels? That's so funny. Oh, I had a shorts channel. So basically I was edits of my podcast. So those were going on. We called the CGA Quick Hits channel. So that channel got demonetized at the same moment. So they're like one after the other, after the other, after the other. So I'm sitting there like, yo, this is absolutely insane. I'm trying to look at all of the channels, which ones were what. I was like, this is absolutely insane that these channels just getting just demonetized like bang, 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 bang. So anyway, so I'm sitting there. I gotta go pick up my kids. I'm watching the emails come in. Every channel gets an email. Okay. I gotta come back, take my kids, do whatever I need to do. I'm basically away on the road because my kids went to a school. I had to drive to it, drive back. I didn't get back to my computer till like an hour and a half, 2 hours later, right? So I'm watching this in real time happen, but right when I was walking out of the door, I couldn't even address it. So come back, and I'm just in time to get to my evening live stream on the Free Agent Lifestyle channel. I'm telling everybody, they're like, hey, how do you super chat? Can't super chat. What happened? Lost all my channels, right? Now, the haters are loving this, man. The haters are like, yes, finally we got him. He got fired on his day off. They doing whatever, man. They celebrating. The haters are celebrating. And I'm like kicked in the gut, like, damn. Because what eventually happens is, I know people were thinking, okay, you can't get no super chats. Okay, you're not going to get as big as an AdSense revenue or whatnot, whatever. But I'm thinking, plans-wise, over a long period, I always think long-term. And I'm like, over long periods of time, that's significant because your audience, your reach is killed. I mean, basically your channel's dead, okay? The only thing you can do on there, and what I eventually figured out was like, okay, potentially if people wanted to do super chats, we can move it to PayPal, Cash Apps, Venmo, which is it's a hack job. At the time, I thought it was like, it was a tremendous risk. And there's significantly lost revenue. I was anticipating doing a certain thing in terms of the year, in terms of meeting a certain goal, and that was going to be cut in half. All right, that was going to be cut in half like immediately. So, and I was planning on moving, all right, which I eventually did. But I was planning on moving, so I was looking at resources, looking at things, hiring movers, making plans to move, making sure I had enough to be able to get the property that I wanted to. So all of this is happening, and this happened probably around March or April of this year, right? So I'm like, yo, so I'm getting $0. I'm getting $0 from Google Chat, and people are happy. Some people are like, you shouldn't be making any money. Some people are like, we need to find ways to donate to help. And I didn't want to treat it as an emergency. I was looking at it from long-term perspective. I'm like, all the content that you've created basically does not get pushed through the algorithm. You slow your growth. Nothing gets done. Nothing gets done. I mean, your growth is done. And I had to figure out now with 7, 8, I had 8 channels at that particular point. All of them demonetized. Some of them had just gotten monetized, which I just got one, which I called the Porsche Puppy's Feet channel. Remember that? And I ended up naming it the Blue Chip Mindset channel, but I did all these vlogs. I think I put in like 15 vlogs, edited, and eventually it was the Porsche Puppy Feet channel. I just got it monetized, and a month later, gone. All right, demonetized. That was my vlog channel because that replaced the Free Agent Lifestyle vlog channel. Anyway, I think of things, I compartmentalize channels. Like, they're all different in my mind. So anyway, I'm watching it. Holy shit, the new Porsche Puppy's Feet channel demonetized, right? So I'm like, okay, what do I do? Don't panic. But your reach is done. Your reach is killed. The channel's dead. Okay, you putting it on there to do what? Basically get a couple of views from the people who subscribe, and then, you know, maybe get pushed to a couple of people close to, you know, the people that are watching your content, it's dead. All right. Now, the one thing is, they gave me a link, and I'll tell you what happened. All right, I'll tell you what happened. But they gave me a link saying in 30 days or 60 days, you can ask for remonetization. Unfortunately, all the channels were on the same AdSense. So since all of the channels were under the same AdSense, they demonetized all the channels under that AdSense. Now, I don't know why they did it. People, like the first time I got demonetized, it was because I think typically fanboys, bots, you know, fans of other people that you're talking negatively against, potentially the content creator, because it doesn't go well, they attack you from the back end, which is some feminine BS. But that tends to happen. The fanboys or whoever it is, they tend to get offended by the way things are going. And again, I did a video about one person. 3 weeks later, all the videos demonetized. All right, just 3 weeks later. So on this time, I cleaned up the Coach Greg Adams channel, and I didn't post under there for about 6 months. And the reason why is because I asked for a review of the channel as it stood. So I deleted a whole bunch of videos, and I was like, let me just see if they remonetize it if I click review. I just click review. I thought they would review it. I think they said we'll review it in 30 days. Well, I didn't post anything in that 30 days, no review. Second month comes around, no post, no review. Third month comes around, no post, no review. Fourth month comes around. I was like, it looks like they're not gonna review it. So I started putting replays of old videos. I started editing old videos, putting them up just for the new people that found the channel. But the channel's not growing. Nothing's happening, man. It's stagnated. And I was just about to get to 200,000 subscribers, right? I was like at 192 when this happened. So anyway, I'm waiting for the review. No review. So I said, I'll just put something over there just to put something over there, right? Just to show that it's not dead. And at the 6 month mark, they reviewed the channel. And they were like, hateful, harmful. And they said, we're taking the AdSense from this channel, so there's no way. But what it did was it demonetized every channel on that AdSense. So that's why all of them got demonetized at the same time. And that made me know, oh shit, you can't have, and it was so funny, a week before that, I was like, I need to change the AdSense on the new channels that got monetized. I just was having this thought. And I was like, I'll get to it when I get to it. Boom, a week later, boom. Now YouTube says you're only supposed to have one AdSense. You know, legally you're supposed to only have one AdSense, but I learned my lesson on that. Having all the channels on one AdSense is a recipe for disaster because one triggers all of them. And I can still get the channels reviewed, but it's a moot point. At that point, I need somebody on the inside to help me out. If I'm just click the review button, some bot is gonna review it, allegedly a human reviewer, and they're gonna review it, and it's gonna be the same situation. And essentially, I'm risking a little bit more than that. So, and you know what's crazy? You can't remove the AdSense from the channels because they got that part blocked now that is demonetized. So I can't change the AdSense on the ones anymore. It's blocked. So, dude, crazy stuff. So then what I had to do was make new channels, right? So now I made a new sports channel, a new vlog channel, and now there's going to be a new Ask Coach Greg Adams channel, which I'm going to make new channels, new videos, and then put some of the old ones up because they're essentially dead. All right, there's nothing that I can do about it. But man, I'm going to tell you what, man, crazy stuff like that. A lot of people will give up. I've been doing and facing a lot of adversity doing this type of thing, and of course, I'm blessed to be able to do this. But faced a lot of adversity over the last 4 years. Some people love that I face this adversity. Some people are like, dang man, what can we do to help? Type of stuff. So I appreciate both people because it shows that I'm making an impact. It did slow me up. You know, my channels were growing like crazy. And unfortunately now the channels don't grow as much. And even if I put stuff over there now, it has way significant reach potential. And the funny thing is now you can say these things on YouTube. Back when I was doing it and starting my channels, you couldn't even say half of these things and we had to speak in code. Now, fortunately, we have a lot of great young content creators coming up and they're passing a lot of the old guys and the old channels because our channels are somewhat shadow banned. Our channels are somewhat restricted, where theirs isn't as restricted because they have a new set of rules. But listen, I'm not complaining about that because I came in a wave where people were getting their channels completely just taken down, right? And I came in after that wave, so I was able to avoid that. But it is what it is, man. Crazy stuff. You face adversity, you come up with a new strategy, all right? Don't give up. I got kicked in the gut several times dealing with this type of business, profession, YouTubing, and whatever you want to call it. Kicked in the gut, and I still continued, and I didn't panic. And yeah, man, that's my story about that. Anyway, share your stories if you are a content creator and you face some similar types of adversities dealing with this. You know, when you look at things like Elon Musk and them seeing that and censorship, you kind of hope maybe YouTube gets on the same plane. But if they don't, they don't. And you continue to find ways. But content strategy is important. Remember, no matter what genre or niche you're in or what your branding is, you still got to find a way to do it. And you can still make some decent money doing it if that's what your drive is, which everybody's drive is. Don't act like you ain't trying to make no money around here, because everybody's got to eat. Man, this is a long video. I don't intend for these videos to be long, but I thought you would enjoy that story. And yeah, like I said, these videos, these channels can be reviewed, but unfortunately, like if I click review and I review my sports channel, it's still technically connected to the Coach Greg Adams channel, AdSense, and potentially if they're like, nah, we ain't doing this, they could be like, I'm in the same spot. So anyway, that's why I work so hard to create other channels. Anyway, shout out to the Coach Gang. We back. Peace.